Deep in the heart of Sunny Forest lived a little squirrel named Sammy. Sammy wasn't just any squirrel. He was a squirrel with a dream. He dreamt of the biggest, shiniest acorn he had ever seen. One sunny morning, Sammy spotted it, high up on the oldest oak tree, dangling the biggest acorn in the whole forest. It was perfect. Sammy knew he had to have it.
Oh wow, look at that, the biggest acorn I've ever seen.
Sammy, full of excitement, scampered up the trunk. He climbed and climbed, his little heart pounding with anticipation. He could almost taste the delicious acorn. But the acorn was on the highest branch, way out of reach. Sammy stretched as high as he could, but the acorn remained just out of reach. He tried jumping, but the branch was too high. Poor Sammy began to feel sad.
Oh no, it's too high, I can't reach it.
Sammy sat on a lower branch, watching the acorn sway gently in the breeze. He wished he could reach it. He thought and thought about how to get the acorn, but nothing seemed possible. Sammy sighed. Getting that acorn all by himself seemed impossible. He needed a plan, and maybe, just maybe, he needed a little help from his friends. Just then his friend Rosie Rabbit hopped by.
"What's wrong, Sammy?"
she asked, noticing his gloomy face. Sammy explained his predicament, his tail drooping as he spoke. Rosie, known for her kindness, immediately offered to help. Along came Benny Bird, chirping merrily. Seeing Sammy's sad face, he perched on a branch beside him.
"What's the matter, Sammy?"
he chirped with concern. Sammy told Benny about the acorn and his failed attempts. Last to arrive was Shelly Turtle, her wise old eyes twinkling. She had seen and heard it all.
Every problem has a solution, Sammy. Let's use our strengths together.
First, Rosie, with her powerful hind legs, stood beneath the branch.
"Hop on, Sammy!"
she exclaimed. Sammy, a glimmer of hope returning to his eyes, jumped onto Rosie's back. Rosie hopped with all her might, boosting Sammy higher than he had ever been. But alas, the acorn remained tantalizingly out of reach. Rosie, despite her incredible jumping abilities, couldn't quite reach the acorn. Sammy, though disappointed, patted Rosie's head gratefully.
Thank you, Rosie. It's too high even for your amazing hops,
he said, his voice full of appreciation. Next, it was Benny's turn. With a determined flap of his strong wings, Benny flew up towards the acorn. He tried to nudge the acorn off the branch, but it was stuck fast.
"It's no use, Sammy. My beak isn't strong enough to knock the acorn down."
Benny flew back down, landing softly beside the disheartened squirrel.
Thank you for trying, Benny. You're the best flyer I know.
Don't worry, Sammy, I have an idea.
Shelly, known for her slow and steady approach, slowly climbed the oak tree. She climbed higher and higher, her sturdy legs gripping the trunk. Reaching the branch where the acorn rested, Shelly used her strong shell to nudge the acorn. She nudged and nudged until finally the acorn broke free, tumbling down towards the waiting friends. Sammy, Rosie, and Benny watched with bated breath as the acorn fell, landing with a soft thud on a pile of leaves. Sammy, overjoyed, scurried over and grabbed the acorn. It was everything he had ever dreamt of. He held it high above his head, his heart bursting with happiness.
We did it! We got the acorn together!
He looked at his friends, realizing that he couldn't have done it without them.
"Hooray!"
Rosie, Benny, and Shelly cheered, happy to have helped their friend. They had learned that day that working together can achieve even the most challenging goals. Sammy realized that day that even though he was small, he could achieve big things with a little help from his friends. He learned that teamwork makes the dream work.
And so, Sammy the squirrel, with his big acorn and even bigger heart, lived happily ever after in Sunny Forest.
From that day on, Sammy always remembered the valuable lesson he had learned. He knew that persistence, determination, and most importantly, the support of his friends could help him overcome any obstacle.